So the elites have made people Satanists without even knowing. This is how crazy the world has got. And this is why we need to understand symbolism, because most people are walking around and they are in fact satanic without even realizing. They make you believe that Satanism is a religion when it's not. It's not the worship of Satan. Satanism is a state of consciousness, which is exactly what the skull and bones means. If we look at the skull and bones, we have a skull, which encloses the brain. The brain's intelligence, the mind, thinking, thought. Then we have bones, which are the limbs for the arms and legs, which take action. So this is a symbol of thinking and acting, the mind and the body, thought and action. But notice it's grey. Grey has no emotion. There is no emotional symbolism here. We are mental, physical, and emotional, but there is no emotion. Why? Because emotion is empathy, love, care. The emotion tells you what is right and wrong at all times. So a Satanist is someone who thinks and acts without connection to the feminine forces of consciousness, such as emotion. We're meant to think, feel, and then act. If we think of stealing an old lady's purse and we feel in our heart that it's wrong, then we should not take the action. But a Satanist is a person who goes against the love of the heart. That is a Satanist, and most people are Satanists without even realizing. It's all an illusion. Heaven and hell are not places, they are mind states. Your head is heaven and your heel is hell, and the bottom of the foot is called the soul. Your soul is suffering in hell if your mind is negative, filled with chaos, seeking validation from the external world. You are not your mind. You are the soul, the one who observes and controls the mind. Life is all a mental game. And if your mind is in chaos and negativity, your soul, suffers from the mind. Heaven and hell are just symbolic places, symbolic of the state of your mind. Life is an experience of the mind. Control your mind, you control your reality. Circles are feminine, lines are masculine. This is present in the human body. Undeniable proof that everything is an intelligent design. The Egyptians knew this. The rod with a curve represents feminine. The rod with a line represents masculine. Crossing the masculine and feminine rods together represents unity of masculine and feminine energies of consciousness. The Freemasons show you the same thing. Compass creates circles, feminine. Square creates lines, masculine. Unity of masculine and feminine energies of consciousness. Aligning the left and right brain. Aligning actions with intuition. Mastery over spirit and matter. It's all the same symbolism, merging the masculine and feminine energies of consciousness. And this is what allows you to reach a higher consciousness, a higher understanding of yourself. Masturbation is a sin. A sin is not an action against God. The word sin means god of the moon in Mesopotamian. The moon is feminine. The feminine aspect of consciousness is intuition and emotion. She tells you what is right and wrong at all times. An action taken against what you know is right is a sin against your intuition, which leads you down an egoic path of destruction. All actions come from emotions that you felt. A sin is a negative emotion that pulls you down and lowers your consciousness. And it's an action that goes against your intuition. Religion is fear-based control. They want you to fear that you go to hell. To control your physical actions. You feel God's law every single day. You know what is right at all times. Lust is an illusion. This is what Lucifer is. This is the sigil of Lucifer. This is your brain's visual field. Lucy means light. Fer means bring. Your eyes are the light bringer that allows you to see physical reality. You are a soul in a physical body. The physical world is a simulation produced by your nervous system. Lucifer represents the beauty of the world. Something that looks beautiful and appears to be good. It pulls you in, but leads you to something evil and dark. Lucifer is something that seduces you, appears to be good, but slowly corrupts you into darkness. It looks like the light, but it takes you into darkness. The Holy Grail is the neck and the head. The ancients traveled across the world to find the Holy Grail. This journey to find the Holy Grail is symbolic of going within the self. They did not travel across lands to find the Holy Grail. Holy Grail is an inward journey of gaining the sacred knowledge of what you truly are. The cup is filled with light. Light is symbolic of knowledge. When someone's very smart, you call them bright. Illuminati is illumination of the mind. It's information of the self. Quest to find the Holy Grail is about finding the light within, gaining information about the self. Ancient knowledge is hidden behind allegories and stories. The Vatican is a snake. The snake represents Satan. Snakes are stuck to the ground. The ground symbolizes the physical world. The ground represents low consciousness, identifying with the ego. But snakes can shed their skin. They can remove layers and transform the self. This is why we see so much snake symbolism in the old world, because it represents transforming the mind. From matter, the ego, up to spirit, the higher self. Kundalini is symbolized as a snake, because we're transforming energy to the brain. The snake in the garden transformed the minds of Adam and Eve. Satan is the ego, and this is the state we need to transform from. All religions show this snake symbolism, because this was the ancient understanding of transforming consciousness. They made you scared of all the sacred symbols. That's why scared rearranged is sacred. They don't want you researching these symbols because they unlock profound teachings about yourself, on how you can go from matter into spirit and become a powerful being. They want you trapped inside of the box, the material plane, living in fear and operating on the surface level of your consciousness and being dominated by external influences. What if I told you you had the power to create your own reality? And you can only do this by mastering yourself. No external God is coming to save us. We must save ourselves. Have you ever wondered why all the ancients used to hold canes? Canes we use today have rubber tips. Ancient canes used natural materials with metal handles and metal tips with a wooden pole. The ground is electromagnetic. These canes were used for grounding. The electromagnetic energy of the earth was connected to the body by grounding these poles. Today we use unnatural materials, which doesn't allow energy from the earth to transfer to your hand. These canes were not for fashion, they were used to ground. We have been disconnected from the earth. Rubber sole shoes were invented to disconnect us. The ancients even had grounding shoes. Everything today has just been inverted. We've never been so disconnected from nature. Why is it Jesus does this hand gesture? The halo represents the mind. The heart represents emotion and love. Two fingers are unified, not separate. It represents unifying the mind with the heart. If you think with the love of the heart, it gives birth to perfect actions. This is how we create heaven on earth. If everyone thought with the love of their heart for the self and one another, we would all give birth to perfect action, and we would all live in peace without a government. You are Jesus, everyone is God, and love is the unifying force that brings us together. We don't need man-made laws. The law of love is already within us. Glass-stained windows were not just for decoration. This was a form of technology. The architects understood that the sun is a source of electromagnetic radiation. The sun's rays are a form of vibration and energy. If you shine light through a geometric pattern, the light that comes out the other end takes the form of that frequency, because each frequency possesses its own geometric pattern. By shining light through a sacred healing geometric pattern, it has healing effects on the human aura, which ultimately heals and regenerates your body. Your body pretty much starts vibrating as the same frequency of the geometric pattern if the light rays are touching you. Plus, the windows contain natural materials such as gold chloride, copper oxide, cobalt oxide, and silver nitrate. These were used to glass stain the windows. Natural materials are very healing for the human body. They vibrate on a natural healing frequency. Therefore, these windows were used to transform the light energy of the sun into a specific frequency to heal the human aura and the body. Each one of these geometric patterns is a different frequency, channeling the light of the sun. The ancients were far more advanced than what we are led to believe. Freemasons always symbolize this coffin at the bottom of their artwork. This coffin represents unconsciousness, with the star representing you. You are a star, a being of light. It represents unconsciousness, lack of awareness. It's a condition in which we do not even recognize that we have consciousness. We take it for granted. We never stop to ask what it is, where it came from, or what our purpose actually is to have this consciousness. In this unconscious state, you have no personal power. Your
your mind is passive and highly influenced by the external world. We are easily shaped by collective thought patterns, cultural beliefs, media, institutions, and social pressures. Because we lack inner awareness, we lack discernment. And this is the state we must use the spade to dig ourselves out of. We need to dig ourselves out of this spiritual deadness, not realizing we live in two worlds, an inner world of forces of energies and consciousness, thoughts, emotions, and an outer world, a material world, a body. We need to dig ourselves out of this spiritual deadness and recognize the forces of consciousness within us that shape our material life. And when we reconstruct our inner world, we can start to reconstruct our external world, because the inner world mirrors the external world.
Demon is D-mon. Mon is moon, meaning emotion. D means negative. A demon is a negative emotion, which possess your mind, body, and spirit. These entities are created by your own thought forms. You feed them by giving them mental and emotional energy. Every addiction you have is an astral entity that you have created. The more thoughts and emotions that you give to these entities, the stronger impact they have over your physical body. I, Magi Nation, you are a magician bringing thought and emotions into physical reality. You've been doing magic your whole life. If that one hand movement can change the whole direction of the plane, now imagine the power of your attention and what thoughts you give attention to. That can shape your whole reality. Take care of your mind, people. Your ego is your mind's perception of itself while being incarnated in a physical body. You had no ego as a baby, because the ego is a false character your mind has created through experience, beliefs, and emotional traumas. The system is designed to trap you in your ego. Just screenshot this and know the difference between the soul and the ego. You are not your ego or the body or belief or name or job. You have a physical material body, and inside you have forces of energy, thoughts, emotions, visualizations. These are not physical. You're an invisible being controlling a visible physical body. Your inner world of consciousness is either operating in hell, animalistic instinct states, or heaven. Jesus was never real. He is a state of consciousness, an ideal state that we need to cultivate within ourselves. I always get asked, why are Freemasons called Freemasons? This has deep connections with the ancient cathedrals that we can't build today, and maybe even the Egyptian pyramids. The word Mason means builder. And the reason why they're called Freemasons, free builders, this is because the origins of Freemasonry was a group of builders who understood and had the knowledge of how to build these ancient structures. These specific structures that we see everywhere around the world that we cannot replicate today. They were the people who possessed the knowledge to build these structures. And in this specific time of history, the world had many different empires and different kings in each country. And every empire would control and restrict the people that they controlled, where they traveled, what they said, what they believed, what religion, everything. The civilians in each empire were not allowed to travel around the world. They had to stay inside of their emperor's kingdom. However, the Freemasons possessed the knowledge to build these amazing structures. Therefore, the emperors around the world would contact the Masons to come and build a magnificent structure in their kingdom or empire. This is why we see Freemasons use Egyptian symbolism, Sumerian symbolism, and all sorts of symbolism around the world, because they gained hidden knowledge from each empire around the world. They were known as Freemasons. They were free to travel the world and build. This is how the lodge system started, because they gained a lot of wealth, a lot of power, and a lot of knowledge by going around the world and gaining hidden wisdom, hidden knowledge of consciousness, how you function, psychology, the brain and the heart. And this is how they built their kingdom of the lodge system. And that's why they are called Freemasons. Your chest is the treasure chest, because this is where the heart is, which contains the soul. The soul contains the inner guidance that tells you what is right and what is wrong. When you steal, when you hurt someone, you can feel it in your heart that it's wrong. We don't need a government, we just need to connect with our hearts, because this has God's law of morality and integrity. The treasure is your life's purpose, which is hidden within the heart, the soul. You find your life purpose by following your heart. Every time you go against the heart, this is pulling you away from your life's purpose. Every time you say yes to your heart, this is leading you down the path to discovering who you truly are and why you are here. Emotions are the language of the soul. On the other side of jealousy is where your soul wants to be in life. On the other side of your fear for something is the greatest growth that will make you become the better person. Let your emotions be your teacher. On the other side of your negative emotions is the greatest growth. Your heart is so much more than just a pump that pumps blood around your body. And I'll probably get in trouble if I mention it on here. Thank you to everyone who's shown support with the book. Trapping our souls in the earth. The dollar bill symbolism shows you this. If we translate these words from Latin, it says announcing the birth of the new world order. Draw a 6-pointed star, you get ASNOM, which spells Mason. The word Mason means build. Building the new world order. And here we see the ground or the earth. They're building the new world order on the earth. The New World Order is a pyramid scheme with only a few elite people with true hidden esoteric knowledge, symbolized as light and the eye of consciousness. The rest of society will be hidden in dull, dark stone bricks, symbolizing heavy, weighed down consciousness. People who lack self-awareness and they are identifying with their heavy physical body and ego. Their aim is simple: to limit the human mind so that you do not figure out who you are, what you are. Keep your consciousness locked in a 3D state so you do not ascend from this plane. Everything this matrix does is to trick you into believing you are a physical being. So when you die, you are still addicted to the worldly pleasures and you will reincarnate yourself back to this plane. To learn more about consciousness, this book is for you. When you close your eyes and meditate, you're gaining more energy because your thoughts are no longer pointing outwards. Therefore, more energy is gained into your electromagnetic field. The next time you feel low energy, simply turn off your thoughts. World War III is not going to kill you. You never actually die. Your consciousness exists and operates outside of this physical dimension. If your mind can move forwards and backwards in time, this means your mind is not bound to the present moment, which your body is. You are not the body. You are the one controlling the mind. You are a higher being of consciousness controlling this physical body. Every time you go to sleep, you die. Daytime is life, nighttime is death. The summertime is life, wintertime is death. The universe is one giant macro and micro fractal cycle. It is one big macro and microcosm. Stop worrying about death. This is the biggest fear-based mind control that they have installed into our minds. You never, ever die. And knowledge is the only thing that you can take from this world.
I just want my girl, I'm dead. I can't do this.
This is a clear example of how your personal experience and reality is created through the generative principle. The prime generator of your reality is care and emotion. She cared about her TikTok being banned. Therefore, she took action towards it. All creation goes through this process. You think something, if you care about it in your heart, you take action towards it. The body follows the heart. This is called the generative principle. The force that generates your life and your actions is care, the generative principle. So if you truly want to build something great in your reality, you truly have to care about it to create it. Why is no one talking about how we can end this war? The simple way to end the war is not to enter the war and go and fight for your country, but simply refuse to participate in the war and fight anyone. The only way we can stop being ruled and controlled as humanity is to simply connect with the law that's already within us. The law that you obeyed as a child. You knew not to hurt someone. You knew not to be racist. You knew not to steal because you felt inside that it was wrong. The soul communicates to you through emotion. Emotion is the language of the soul. Thought is the language of the mind. And if we allow the soul, our love, care, law within us, to govern our thoughts and actions, and if everyone did this and went within ourselves and connected with this heart intelligence, we would not be controlled. The word government means to govern the ment, control the mentality, mind control. It's very simple. Have you ever noticed the more you consume, the more depressed you become? This is because you are not designed to consume. You are designed to create, turning non-physical into a physical reality, thoughts into physical reality. You hold the power. The same power that God created the physical world is the same power that you hold of turning non-physical thoughts into a physical, tangible reality. Stop consuming. Let's create. The Bible is secretly encoded. The three wise men are parts of your brain. You have three glands in the brain, the pineal, thalamus, and pituitary. The three men give presents to Jesus. These three glands give presents to your body. The thalamus produces dopamine. Pineal gland produces melatonin, which rejuvenates red blood cells and slows aging. The pituitary gland produces serotonin, a natural mood stabilizer, heals wounds, toxin regulation, bowel movement, maintaining wakefulness. Three wise men are the three glands in the brain, and the presents are serotonin, melatonin, and dopamine to the central nervous system and the body. The body's health relies on the harmonious functions of these three glands in your brain. The Bible is not history and is not meant to be taken literally. You are God in human form. Why is it Jesus is always doing this hand gesture? The halo represents the mind. The heart represents emotion and love. The two fingers are unified, not divided, representing the unifying of the mind and the heart. That's how we create heaven on earth. If you think with the love of the heart, these two forces unified give birth to perfect action in the world. That is what Christ consciousness is, and that's how we all create heaven on earth. You are Jesus, you are God, and love is the unifying force that brings all consciousness together. Don't need a government, we just need to follow the love in our hearts.
This isn't just architecture.
It's a manual for becoming powerful. The two pillars, you see them everywhere. Ancient Rome, Solomon's Temple, Egypt, and even modern courtrooms. They represent the two forces inside every human. Masculine, feminine. Freemasonry, they're called Jachin and Boaz. Connected by a bridge. That bridge is the key. The masculine pillar is action, the physical world, what you do in the world, what you can see. The feminine pillar is intuition, the unseen world, what you feel. Power comes when your actions align with your inner guidance. Emotions aren't just random feelings, they're energetic signals showing you the right path. When action and intuition are bridged, you walk on your soul's true journey. Like a domino effect, it leads you to your life purpose. The Temple of Solomon encodes this. Sol, meaning sun, masculine. Mon, meaning moon, feminine. Building the Temple of Solomon isn't about stone. It's about building these forces within you to be unified. Symbolism is power. The ancients encoded divine knowledge into stone for those who have eyes to see. Once you have the eye to see, then you will realize circles are feminine, lines are masculine. This is present in the human body. Undeniable proof that everything is an intelligent design. The Egyptians knew this. The rod with a curve represents feminine. The rod with a line represents masculine. Crossing the masculine and feminine rods together represents unity of masculine and feminine energies of consciousness. The Freemasons show you the same thing. Compass creates circles, feminine. Square creates lines, masculine. Unity of masculine and feminine energies of consciousness. Aligning the left and right brain. Aligning actions with intuition. Mastery over spirit and matter. It's all the same symbolism, merging the masculine and feminine energies of consciousness. And this is what allows you to reach a higher consciousness, a higher understanding of yourself. Have you ever wondered why we pray over food? It goes much deeper than God blessing your food. You are literally a bioelectrical battery. And your words are literally swords. When you speak, you produce electromagnetic sound waves. The true meaning of speaking over food is to raise the frequency of the food before you place it inside your temple. But there's one more thing. We used to hold hands over the food also. You are an electromagnetic battery, and when we hold hands, we're amplifying our energy and connecting the energy, which is another way to change and raise the frequency of the food. In the medieval times, they used radium glassware, and they would eat with silver and gold forks and knives. These natural materials vibrate on a high healing frequency, which is another way to raise the frequency of the food. Remember, illness is a frequency, and if you vibrate on a low frequency, you match the frequency of illness. If you vibrate on a higher frequency, you do not. This is why the people who have good thoughts and have mastered their consciousness and vibrate highly, they never get sick. You can't go to heaven, but your mind can. Corinthians 15:50. Flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of God. You don't just have a physical body. You have a mental body, spiritual body, and emotional body. Flesh and blood is the physical body. It can't go to heaven, but your emotions, spirit, and mind can. Heaven is an internal state of consciousness, not a physical place in the afterlife. Heaven is a state of mastery, having full control over your body, emotion, spirit, and mind. No longer suffering from chaotic thoughts and chaotic emotions. Everything's hidden in allegory and stories. The Book of Wisdom will help you decode this. Holy Grail is the neck and the head. The ancients traveled across the world to find the Holy Grail. This journey to find the Holy Grail is symbolic of going within the self. They did not travel across lands to find the Holy Grail. Holy Grail is an inward journey of gaining the sacred knowledge of what you truly are. The cup is filled with light. Light is symbolic of knowledge. When someone's very smart, you call them bright. Illuminati is illumination of the mind. It's information of the self. The quest to find the Holy Grail is about finding the light within, gaining information about the self. Ancient knowledge is hidden behind allegories and stories. Illuminati means illumination. It is the illumination of your mind. You illuminate your mind by understanding how your psyche works, your subconscious, your heart, your brain, and how these things function to create your own reality. It's about gaining unity consciousness. That's why there's one eye in a triangle. The triangle's the number 3, the 3 emanations and expressions of consciousness. Consciousness expresses itself through thoughts, emotions, and actions. There is one eye representing unity, unifying thought, emotion, action to operate in the world efficiently and effectively. Very simple. The reason why we're being controlled is because we do not understand ourselves. The moment you understand yourself, you find your own power and you create your own reality. So the system relies on people being ignorant and not knowing themselves. The brain is not the mind. The mind is the spiritual brain. The brain is the physical manifestation of the mind. As above, so below. As within, so without. The heart is a physical manifestation of the soul. Thoughts are the language of the mind. Emotions are the language of the soul. And everything we think in the mind directly corresponds with the energy in motion we produce in the heart. Emotion. So if you are depressed, you are choosing to think and receive them thoughts, and you are directly feeling the negative emotions in the heart. So if you meditate and learn to turn off the mind during meditation, you gain the off switch for your mind, and you can select the thoughts you want to think that give you power instead of being a slave to your negative thoughts and living in depression. Depression is a choice. So many people ask me, what even is higher consciousness? It simply means a higher understanding of yourself, how your brain works, your heart, your consciousness, the psyche, the spirit, and how these things play out together to create your individual reality. So understanding yourself allows you to operate in the world more effectively, more efficiently, and allows you to actually live and not just experience reality. So I highly recommend to actually study your brain, study your heart, study yourself. Why do you take actions? Question yourself. Think internally. Go within and think about the internal world. Here's a little investment tip for anyone who wishes to make money over the long run. It's not massive amounts of money, but when authors release a book, that first edition that comes out is like the original first edition of the book. And after 10, 20 years, if that author maintains the reputation that they have, usually the book is worth quite a lot of money. For example, the first edition of the Harry Potter book, that's worth a lot of money. So what I'm going to do with this next book is like release like a first edition, like 100 or maybe 200 copies. our first edition. Jesus never turned water into wine. This is a highly symbolic parable on how you can become powerful. Water corresponds to emotion because it's a feminine quality, and wine represents transmuted water. We need to transmute our emotions to become powerful and the best versions of ourselves, because emotions are always guiding us. If we feel something wrong, then this is an indication that we need to change something and take action towards something else. Emotions are always guiding us towards perfection and the highest version of yourself. And this is what it represents, transmuting emotion, because they are the spiritual guidance system. Freemasons even teach this. Have you ever noticed the more you consume, the more unhappy you become? The more I eat, the worse I feel. The more TikTok and Instagram that I watch, the more unhappy I become. I realized this a few years ago, that we are creators. You're made to create. And if you do not create, your emotions tell you something is wrong. You see, emotions are just a powerful guiding system. When you have a bad emotion, it's indicating that there needs to be change. They're always guiding you towards your highest potential. This is why we say, follow your heart. Your emotions can be transformed, transmuted. That's what Jesus meant by water into wine. Water is emotion. Wine is transmutation. This blew my mind when I discovered this ancient artwork. This is an ancient Sumerian piece of artwork, and it's giving you instructions in a symbolic encoded language to go from low consciousness to high consciousness. If we look closely at this figure, we see the symbol of Aries, the lamb. Aries is the sign when the sun returns in the spring, symbolizing the resurrection of the sun, light. It is the season of sacrifice and rebirth, killing the winter, moving into the next summery, fiery aspect of the earth. The Sumerians used astrology to represent the spiritual journey. He's got one foot on the ground, standing up a higher step above Aries, which is rebirth, plus it's a ground animal. Ground animals represent the lower mind, the lower self. He's stepping up, rebirthing himself towards the bird. The bird is a symbol of the higher self, because the bird can fly in the air. Also, birds can look down upon the earth. They have a higher perception. They perceive things on a higher level, symbolizing going from the lower mind to the higher mind. Now notice this figure here, this feminine goddess with the wings. She represents the spirit. The spirit is a feminine aspect. Consciousness. It's symbolizing going from ground-based awareness of the five senses to the higher mind. This is also what we see here. He's raising out the ground towards the higher level, towards the spirit, the higher self. Why is it Freemasons place a coffin at the bottom of their artwork? The skull is where the mind is thinking. The bones is what take action. Thinking and acting is what keeps you in a low state of consciousness. This is missing emotional symbolism. Emotion is what guides us. Feelings give you the knowledge of what is right and wrong. And in this low consciousness state at the bottom of the artwork, you do not know what is right and wrong. Coffin represents an unconscious mind, someone who is not awake and spiritually dead. Their mind and heart is in division, and they think and act in an impulsive state, not with intention. Actions without the guidance of emotion leads to destruction.